Over the past few years, natural hairstyles have boomed. There has been a dramatic increase in the number of black women fed up with the perm and the weave and embracing the natural side of their beauty. One of the most popular of these natural hairstyles is dreadlocks. There are many reasons for starting to locks up. I spoke to a few sisters about their lock journey and the powerful effects locksing has had on their lives, both physically and emotionally.
In my hair to calculate that about 9 years ago.
I started locks in my hair 2 years ago.
I started my lock journey in 2001.
April 1990. I've had them now for about 17, 18 years.
I think it's something that I've always wanted to do, funny enough. When I was in primary school from like year one, I remember there was a girl that had dreadlocks and I always loved her hair and she used to show us how she done it and how she'd do her hairstyles. And in my mind, I always pictured that by the time I'm a grandma, I'd love to have really long locks, so I thought I'd start it quite early, to be honest.
I decided to lock my hair because it's something that I'd wanted to do from the age of 14. And it's something that I connected with. It's something that I felt at that time that that's how our hair was supposed to be.
I originally went to St. Lucia in 2006 and I wanted to have dreadlocks. And my mum was like, no, you can't have dreadlocks, it's going to look horrible. Da, da, da. Then after she decided to have locks in 2009, she did her locks and it was just more of a convenience thing as well. Have the locks, everyone's having it, your mum's having it, it's easier, they've been telling you it's easier, so I decided I'm going to have the locks.
I felt it was the next chapter. I had loose natural hair before I used to wear my hair in afro puffs and all sorts of styles, and I've always admired locks and I just thought, why not go for it?
I decided to lock my hair, one, because I was fed up with the perm. Two, there was a part of me that was kind of an activist in regards to what does Europeans see as beauty, and I needed to find that beauty within myself. So I decided that I just wanted to be natural and see where that took me, really.
It's got an increase on both sides, both men and women, especially women, because of, what they're going through with their hair, relaxing and stuff like that. So you find a more increase and more demand on it. A lot of people want to go natural or either locks in. So we find a lot of people coming in quite often asking advice on what to do, with their hair now. So the increase is quite vast.
Beginning stages of locking one's hair can be a hard and testing time. A time of self-reflection and acceptance. Some can't wait for their locks to lock up and grow and find the first couple months difficult. But I believe it's within these first few months that you experience inner growth and appreciation. One quickly abandons preoccupations with the growth and length of their locks and learn to appreciate each stage of their hair growth.
I remember my sister telling me, "Oh la la, you're gonna look horrible for at least 6 months. You won't be able to do anything with it." Well, I found it quite easy for me because I used to have them short, so it's it starts short because I had short hair when I started, and I just like it. I like the look of it, and actually it reminded me of when I was a little girl and my mom used to do some little bows on my hair. It was very African-like, so for me it was like normal, no fuss about it. I liked it.
The beginning stages of locking was I think it's a patience journey because you're wanting it to matte, then some of it mattes and some of it doesn't, different parts of it matte. You want to try and do styles with it and sometimes you can't straight away.
It was a journey. I managed it. I just found a nice stylish hat. As soon as it could go back into one, it was in one. I put my hat on and it was really nice, and it just grew. I didn't look at my hair again because that wasn't really my focus at the time.
The beginning stages was a bit hard because my face was more exposed. My whole of my face was exposed and the hair was quite short because we had to cut off the perm and just start from the natural. So it was a bit daunting. I felt ugly. I felt like everyone was staring at me. My face was just bigger and wider and everything. So afterwards, and everyone started complimenting, "Oh, that looks nice, your hair looks nice." I started to relax a bit, but at the same time I felt ugly. I did feel ugly, and then after I just got used to it and it started getting longer, and then I'm all right now.
When I began my locks, I went on a spiritual journey with my locks because I took my hair clean off and I began from scratch. So every part of my locks was a transitional journey for me. So every time the stages of my locks grew, I grew. So when it was short, I had to find styles and had to find my style with that shortness. When it became longer, I then had to find my style with that.
Short locks, appreciate them because you never go back to that stage, and they're beautiful.
Black hair in its natural form is seen as unmanageable, nappy, shrinkable, and incapable of growth. And to make insecurities worse, we are bombarded with pictures in the media of stars sporting the latest weaves of long, flowing hair that is a poor reflection of who we are and detrimental to women.
That's what black women desire these days.
Right.
The majority of black women want European flowy hair, so we wear weave until it breaks the hair that we have, then we have no hair to try and flow and weave.
Apart from a few, natural rarely comes into the picture.
People are so into fashion, you know, black girls should have Beyonce's hair. I'm not Beyonce, I don't believe in that, I don't see myself like this.
I'm not saying that women shouldn't relax their hair or women shouldn't desire flows and la-di-da-di-da. I'm not saying that. The point that I'm making is that black people should be so much more comfortable and accept their hair that they don't go to an extreme level to try and achieve a look that their hair is not naturally made for.
My worry is the effect this has on our young black women, still being fed the media portrayal of black beauty as they try to imitate the newest weave trends. My grandmother used to say, your hair is your beauty. However, so much is done to our hair from a young age that the naturally beautiful state of our hair is lost and often damaged.
When I told my mum I first wanted to lock, she wasn't happy.
No. My mom said no, of course, she's against it. She's got, you know, this image of if you've got locks, you smoke, not the legal stuff.
She didn't allow me to do it at that point, but I was 14. As I said, I did want to do it from the age of 14, and my mum was like, no, not under my roof.
And well, you know what, I was like 7 years ago, 30-something. So I told her, well, that's it. I'm going to do it. And anyway, my sister out there already. So she was, please don't do it. And I said, I'll do it. And I did it to my girls as well. So now she's got to get used to it. And my sisters, all of my sisters have locks.
Well, my mum was totally influenced, and I think about a couple years afterwards decided to locks her hair. And she's from like the traditional Christian background, so back in the day that was never the thing. So for her to do that was like, must have been some liberation.
My mum was anti any form of locking. I'm Nigerian by heritage, and in Nigeria we have these people who are called Dada, and they're naturally locked up from their young children, you know, for spiritual reasons or to do with religion. However, anybody else out of that, they look at them as if they're lunatics, you know, they're mad people. So my mum was like, she didn't even want to see my locks at all. But her whole opinion has changed over the 20-odd years, because now she knows who I am. She's watched me grow. She sees me as a woman in my own right, as a parent, how I deal with my children, how I interact with other people. And when I did announce to her that I was going to cut my hair one day, she just was like, don't do it, because you just won't be you. You know, it was a total turnaround altogether.
Yeah, I don't really think judged in a bad way. I think sometimes I'm judged in the sense that people assume I'm Rastafarian, so I get that a lot.
To an extent, yes. Depends on what surroundings or what environment I'm in, yes, because obviously people have certain preconceptions about locks and your lifestyle and your beliefs.
Wearing your natural hair is like, they think it's a revolution. You are like Angela Davis or any kind of Black Panthers. They always called me Black Panthers before because they think you're different, and obviously you have opinions.
I think some people find you very challenging because, yes, to have your locks, you must have a certain amount of strength to be able to hold it when all of society is saying, no, straighten your hair, you've got to look this way, you'll never get a job.
I can put on things and stand out with my locks. So I would say that my locks stand out positively rather than negatively.
I think also because my hair's pretty matty, whatever that means. People kind of judge those more than, say, smaller, neater locks per se, and people tend to think I'm a Rasta. I mean, I admire Rastas all the time, you know. But the thing is, just because someone has locks doesn't mean they believe in certain things.
The 70s and 80s saw Britain's first generation of black youths locking their hair in the hundreds. This emerged from the growing Rastafarian followers and the Black Conscious movement. For many black youths, it wasn't a fashion, it was a cultural statement, a non-conformance to the Babylonian society. A fight back against a society which disregarded and penalised them for the colour of their skin. However, many of these dreadlocked men and women found themselves criticised and disapproved of, not only from outsiders, but a little closer to home.
In the 70s and 80s, it represented a rebellion. It represented a non-conformist of European ways. It represented free speech around things that people did not agree with. And so therefore it was a rebellion against what people saw black people as. And so therefore you would see a lot of Rastas locking up their hair to break away from things.
You found people that were locking up weren't really locking up for fashion. It wasn't a trending thing because you were really alienated, if anything, through having your locks, but it was more because we were reading and we were getting to know who we were. We were talking about Selassie, we were studying Marcus Garvey, you know, we were reading the Bible, you know, and we were growing.
I feel now that era doesn't get its kudos and recognition, you know, of where the roots of it really started and why it started. That was the Marcus Garvey era, and a lot of us don't go back there to understand what this was all about. When Rastas were marching and talking about things, you didn't really understand the connotations. It was all in songs, the connotations of what this whole thing was about. This was a movement. Locks was a movement. But people didn't see that as it felt like it was a rebellion. But for me, it was a breaking away. It was a setting up of, it was a unity. It was to bring people together to be economically powerful. And we don't go back there.
Our generation then compared to the generation of that same age group now were a lot more aware and a lot more militant, but we kind of had to be because live with our parents who were anti everything that we stood for and wanted for us to conform into the system, and we were just like, no, we're not in this system with you. So a lot of people, they locked up their hair and got thrown out of home. It was really bad.
Since the 50s and 60s, Rastafarians were prosecuted because of their beliefs and penalised for their dreadlocks, feared and cast off in society as dappy men and the evil spirits. Fast forward to 2014, and France is the hotspot for these prejudices.